My name is Fatima Al-Masri. I'm 42 years old, and until recently, I believed I understood the truth about life, faith, and God. I was born and raised in Gaza, in a devout Muslim family, where everything I knew was framed through the lens of Islam. I followed the rules, honored the traditions, and lived with unwavering conviction. But what happened to me shattered everything I thought I knew and transformed my soul in a way I never imagined. This is not just a story. It is my truth, my pain, my awakening, and the reason I can no longer stay silent. I was born in Gaza, in a tight-knit, faith-filled family, where the sound of the adhan was the rhythm of our lives. From the moment I could walk, I was taught how to bow, how to fast, how to recite the words that would supposedly bring me closer to Allah. My father was a man of discipline, a man who believed devotion was measured by repetition, by ritual, by how early you rose for Fajr. My mother wrapped my hijab around my face with tenderness, yet there was always that undertone of warning. This keeps you safe. This keeps you pure. This keeps you close to Allah. I believed her. I had to. What else was there? When I married Hassan, I was still young, still believing that obedience was the highest virtue a woman could offer, to her God and to her husband. Hassan was older, respected, and deeply revered in our community. When he became the Imam of our mosque in Birmingham after we migrated, our identity was complete. He led with fire and conviction, and I stood by him, the loyal wife, the devoted mother. We had 4 children, each one raised beneath the teachings of the Quran, each one molded by the same truths that once shaped me. Our house was disciplined, structured, godly. At least that's what I told myself. There were no celebrations for Christmas or Easter, no birthday parties, no music, no cartoons with magic or haram characters. Our children memorized surahs before they could even ride a bike. We fasted, prayed, and tithed. I worked long hours cleaning at the hospital while Hassan preached. I scrubbed floors and whispered du'as. I kept my eyes low and my heart locked. People respected us. They said we were a model Muslim family. But behind the praise, behind the rituals, I often felt something hollow in my chest. A silence, an absence, one I never dared speak aloud. Late at night, when the house was still, I would lie in bed with questions I was too afraid to voice. Why did Allah feel so distant, even when I was at my most obedient? Why did the fear of hell drive everything we did? Why did we isolate ourselves from others? Christians, Jews, atheists, as if love was something to ration? I buried those questions. I pushed them deep beneath my prayers. But no matter how hard I tried, they grew, and I hated myself for it. I thought I was losing faith, when in reality I was getting closer to the truth. The children, especially Aisha, began to ask questions too. I saw it in her eyes, that longing to know, to understand beyond rules. She would say things like, "But Mama, my friend Emma is Christian, and she's so kind. Why would Allah send her to hell?" I had no answer, so I repeated what I was told. If she doesn't accept Islam, she'll go to hell. And I watched as my daughter's heart sank. That was the moment I knew something was deeply wrong. That maybe, just maybe, we had confused obedience with truth. And yet I kept going, because what else could I do? Hassan was an imam. I was his wife. We had an image to uphold. Our family depended on structure, our community on tradition. Every Friday, our mosque filled with people hanging on my husband's every word. He warned against Christians. He preached damnation for apostates. And I stood in the back, nodding, smiling, telling women to be strong in faith, while my own faith trembled like a leaf in a storm. I was living 2 lives, one visible, one buried. If you're listening to this and feel a similar crack in your spirit, don't turn away. Don't bury it. I buried it for too long. That emptiness inside you, that ache you can't explain, it might not be weakness. It might be your soul longing for something real, something more than ritual. I invite you to keep listening, not because I have all the answers, but because I know what it's like to question everything. And I promise, the truth can set you free. But first, it might break you. After the accident, everything changed. I remember stepping out of the hospital, the rain heavy on my coat, the cold air sharp against my face. I was exhausted. I had just worked a long shift, scrubbing floors and rushing through the halls during Ramadan. I was on my way home to prepare iftar, imagining Ibrahim's smile when he saw the dates, picturing Aisha helping me set the table. But none of that happened. The moment I stepped onto the street, a car came rushing through the red light. The screech of tires still haunts me. I didn't have time to move. I remember screaming, "Allah, help me!" And then, nothing. Silence. Darkness. I woke up outside of my body. I could see myself lying on the pavement, blood pooling, my hijab torn. Paramedics were shouting, pressing on my chest. A crowd gathered. A man said the driver was drunk, but I wasn't afraid. I felt peaceful, like I was floating. Then, something shifted. The air turned cold. Voices started whispering. I looked down, and a black tunnel opened beneath me, pulling me in. I screamed, but there was no escape. I was falling fast, into something I could only describe as torment. When I landed, I was somewhere else entirely. The ground was black and cracked, fire bleeding from the seams. The heat scorched my skin, and the stench, burning flesh, rotting despair, was unbearable. Souls cried out in pain. Chains clanged. Screams echoed. I saw people I recognized, women from my community, a man from the mosque, even children. Their bodies were in agony, their eyes pleading. "I didn't know," one woman cried, her face melting. I stumbled through the chaos trying to understand. Was this hell? Why was I here? I had prayed, fasted, obeyed. I had done everything I was told. Then I saw someone I never expected, Sheikh Omar, my father-in-law, once revered in Gaza, a man of great influence, known for preaching truth and fire. But here he was burning, his beard singed, his skin blistered. He looked at me, eyes full of agony, and said, "I was wrong." He clutched my arm, his grip like fire. "Islam is a lie. I led people here. Tell Hassan, save him." I was in shock. This was the man who shaped my husband's faith, my children's beliefs. To hear him renounce it all, in that place, was more terrifying than the flames themselves. Before I could respond, a dark figure pulled him away, screaming. I dropped to my knees, sobbing. My world shattered. Everything I believed collapsed in that moment. I cried out to Allah, but there was no answer. The silence was deafening. Then, from the fire, a light began to emerge. Soft at first, then radiant. It was warm, gentle, unlike anything I'd ever felt. The fire disappeared. The screams faded. I was enveloped by peace. And then, I saw him. A figure walking toward me in robes of light. Jesus. Not the prophet I had heard of, but something more. He looked at me, and I felt known, deeply known. Like every wound, every doubt, every hidden fear was exposed, but not judged. Loved. He didn't speak out loud, but I heard him clearly. "Fatima, I am the way." My knees gave out. I couldn't stand in his presence. He reached out, his hand on my head, and I felt every chain inside me break. Then he showed me things. His crucifixion, his resurrection. Not in words, but in spirit. I felt his sacrifice. I felt his love. I saw that he died for me. For all of us. I asked him, trembling, "But what about all I've believed?" He showed me Islam from the outside. Rituals, laws, fear, but empty of intimacy. I saw how fear had kept me from love, how obedience had replaced connection. Then he showed me my children. 2 futures. In one they remained Muslim, cold, fearful. In the other they found him. They were joyful, free, whole. He looked at me with eyes that burned with love and said, "Go back, tell them." And I knew then, if I did not speak, they might never know this love. I had to return, no matter the cost. I opened my eyes in the hospital, machines beeping, air thick with disinfectant. My body hurt, but I was alive. I looked up and saw Hassan's face, pale, tense. My children were there, their eyes wide. Ibrahim ran to me, hugging me. I tried to speak, but my throat was dry. The first word that escaped was Jesus. The room froze. Hassan's face changed, like stone cracking. "What did you say?" he whispered. I looked into his eyes, feeling the weight of truth, and I said it again, louder this time. I saw Jesus. I saw the truth. What followed was chaos. Hassan shouted. The children cried. Nurses rushed in. Hassan told the doctor I was confused, that I must have hallucinated. But I wasn't confused. I was more awake than ever. They said I had been clinically dead for 20 minutes. A miracle, they called it. But no one wanted to believe what I saw. Hassan brought imams to recite over me. They said it was shaitan, that I was deceived. One looked at me with pity and said, "You must return to Islam." But I couldn't. How could I return to something that had kept me blind? When I went home, things got worse. Word spread in the community. I was called an apostate, a kafir. People who once greeted me now crossed the street. At the mosque, women whispered. A man spat near me, muttering, "You've lost your way." Hassan stopped speaking to me unless necessary. He slept on the couch. The love was gone. I had become a stranger in my own home. My son Yusuf accused me of dishonoring the family. He said I was sick. Aisha was quieter. She didn't know what to believe, but she listened. One night I overheard Hassan on the phone. He was speaking to someone in Saudi Arabia. "They'll take her for re-education," he said. "They'll fix her." My blood ran cold. I knew about those centers, places where they break you until you submit. I knew I had to act. I couldn't let them erase what Jesus had given me. I couldn't let them take my faith. More than that, I couldn't let my children grow up without knowing the truth, without knowing love. Even if they hated me for it, I had to protect them. Somehow, I found a Christian group online. Secret, careful. I shared my story. A woman named Sarah said she knew a family in Ireland who could help. They had helped others like me. She gave me a plan. Bus, ferry, village, safety. I read her messages with tears in my eyes. Was I really doing this? Was I strong enough? I didn't know. But I knew I wasn't alone. Jesus was with me. I felt his presence guiding me. And I made the choice. I would leave. I would take my two youngest, Zinab and Ibrahim. The older ones were too loyal to Hassan. My heart ached, but I had to try. The night we left, it was raining. Hassan was at the mosque. The house was quiet. I packed a small bag, clothes, food, a photo of all my children. I kissed Yusuf's forehead, whispered, "I love you." I held Aisha tight, told her to keep asking questions. "Look for him," I said. "Jesus is real." She cried, but she nodded. Then I woke Zinab and Ibrahim. "We're going on a trip," I whispered. They followed me into the dark. We ran through the rain to the bus stop. I kept looking back, praying Hassan wouldn't appear. The bus came. We left. The ferry ride was long and cold. I held Zinab and Ibrahim close to my chest, their small bodies trembling, not from the weather but from the confusion in their hearts. They trusted me, even if they didn't understand. Every time the waves rocked the boat, I whispered a prayer, "Jesus, keep us safe, don't let Hassan find us." My eyes scanned every face on board, afraid that someone had been sent to drag us back, but no one came. We arrived in Ireland just as the sun was rising behind gray clouds. The rain had stopped. It felt like a sign. A man named Michael was waiting for us. He had kind eyes and a quiet strength in his voice. "Fatima," he said, and I broke down in tears. He helped us into his car and drove us to a small village surrounded by green hills. It was nothing like Birmingham, and certainly nothing like Gaza. There was silence here, gentle, healing silence. His wife, Anna, welcomed us with open arms. Their home was simple, but warm. They gave us a room, a place to sleep, food to eat, smiles without judgment. For the first time in weeks, I could breathe. I began working as a cleaner again, this time in a school. The work was just as hard, but different. The people smiled. The children waved. No one asked about my hijab, because I wasn't wearing it anymore. The first time I removed it, I stood in front of the mirror, trembling. My hair was unkempt. My head felt exposed, like I was walking into battle naked. But then, I remembered the warmth of Jesus' light, and I whispered, "I'm not hiding anymore." I walked into the church that Sunday, my head uncovered, my heart wide open. The church was small, wooden pews, a simple cross on the wall. But when the worship began, something broke inside me. The music rose and I felt like I was flying, not because of tradition, not because I was told to, but because I wanted to. I lifted my hands, hands that had once scrubbed floors, carried children, and trembled in fear. And I praised, not in Arabic, not reciting memorized prayers, but in my own voice, from my heart. "Thank you, Lord," I cried. "Thank you for saving me." And I meant every word. Zainab and Ibrahim started asking questions. "Mama, who is Jesus?" I told them stories, like I used to with the prophets. But this time, I wasn't just telling history. I was sharing hope. Zainab began to draw pictures of him. Ibrahim asked to pray at night. They folded their hands and whispered, "Jesus, we love you." I watched them smile without fear, without pressure, without shame, and I knew I had made the right choice. Even if the world hated me, even if Hassan never forgave me, I had given my children a chance to know real love. But my heart still ached. I missed Yusuf and Aisha more than words can describe. Every night I prayed for them, crying into my pillow, asking Jesus to show himself to them like he had to me. "They're still yours," I whispered. "Call them like you called me." I sent letters, messages. None were answered. I feared Hassan had blocked everything. I feared they thought I abandoned them, that I was a traitor. I had no way to reach them, except through prayer. And so I prayed, day and night. Because when you love someone, you never stop fighting for their soul. If you're hearing this and you feel torn between fear and truth, please, don't wait for it to be too late. I lived so long afraid of what others would think, of what I might lose. But what I gained, nothing compares. I found peace. I found love. I found Jesus. And he is not far from you. You don't have to earn him. Just call his name. He's waiting, just like he waited for me. Months passed. Our life in Ireland became real, not just a hiding place. I found strength in the routine, in the community, in the church family that embraced us without condition. But something stirred inside me. I began feeling a pull to speak out, to tell my story, not just to friends, but to the world. I couldn't stay silent anymore. What I had seen, what I had felt, what I knew, it wasn't just for me. It was a warning, a call, a second chance not just for my family, but for anyone still living in fear and bondage, believing lies they were taught to never question. So I began recording my story. First, just in writing, then on camera. My hands trembled the first time I said, "My name is Fatima," and I saw hell. I saw Jesus. But as the words came, the fear melted. I didn't want fame. I didn't want pity. I wanted truth to echo louder than silence. I shared my testimony with people in secret groups, with women trapped like I once was. Some believed instantly, others didn't. Some cried, others raged, but it didn't matter. Seeds were being planted, and that's all I could do. The rest, I left in his hands. Not everyone received me with grace. I got hate mail, threats, even from people I used to call friends. One message simply said, "We know where you are." Another said, "You'll burn in hell for this." For a moment, fear crept in. I looked over my shoulder at every corner. I stayed awake at night listening for footsteps. But every time I prayed, peace returned. Jesus reminded me, they hated me first, and I found comfort in that. I wasn't alone. I never was. I began speaking at churches, small gatherings at first, then larger ones. Women would come up to me, tears streaming down their faces. I left Islam too, some whispered, but I've never told anyone. I saw the pain behind their eyes, the cost of leaving, the fear of losing everything. But I also saw the hunger, the desire to be free. And I told them what I needed someone to tell me. You are not alone. You are not crazy. You are loved more deeply than you know. And that love, it changes everything. One day, I received a message. It was from Aisha. "Mama," it said, "I saw your video. I cried. I'm not ready to leave, but I want to talk." My hands shook. I dropped to my knees, thanking Jesus. It was the beginning. Just a crack in the wall, but cracks let light in. I called her. We cried together. She asked questions. I didn't force anything, I just listened. I told her what I had seen, what I had felt. I told her, Jesus is not a religion. He's a person. He loves you. And for the first time, she didn't argue. She just listened. The next week, she asked for a Bible. I mailed one with trembling hands. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew something had shifted. Yusuf hasn't spoken to me. Not yet. But I haven't given up. I won't. My prayers cover him like a blanket every night. I believe his moment will come. Maybe not through me. Maybe through a dream, a stranger, a scripture. But Jesus will call him. I believe that with every fiber of my soul. Because when Jesus wants your heart, he doesn't stop knocking. If my story resonates with you, please don't scroll past. Don't harden your heart. I lived in darkness for so long, bound by religion, by fear, by the opinions of others. But love broke through. Love in the form of a man who gave everything for me. And he gave everything for you too. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to say yes. He'll do the rest. He did it for me. He'll do it for you. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm telling my story. Not to shame anyone, not to argue, not to attack, but to invite you into the light that changed my life forever. I know what it's like to live in fear, to follow rules without peace, to wonder if God even hears you. But I also know what it's like to encounter Jesus, to be seen, to be known, to be loved in a way no human ever could. If he reached me, he can reach you too. No matter where you're from, no matter what you've done, you are not too far. He is near. If you felt even the slightest stirring in your heart as you listened, don't ignore it. That stirring is not emotion, it's invitation. You don't need to have perfect theology. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to be willing. Take that step. Open your heart. Whisper his name. Say, Jesus, show me who you are. I promise you, he will. He did for me. He will for you. You are not alone and you are not beyond hope. This isn't about leaving a religion. This is about stepping into a relationship that brings life. So if you're ready to go deeper, don't wait. Subscribe to this channel. Follow the content. Not for me, but for your journey, for your questions, for your soul. We are building a community here for people like you. Searching, questioning, hungry for truth. You belong here. This space is for the brave, for the broken, for those who want more than rituals. Join us, walk with us, and most importantly, follow Jesus. Say yes to him. Let him rewrite your story like he rewrote mine. If you're a former Muslim like me, or maybe someone still inside the system and afraid, reach out. Send a message, leave a comment. You're not crazy, you're not alone, and you're certainly not the only one. We are here for you. We'll walk with you. We'll pray with you. One story can change everything. Maybe this one was meant for you. Maybe this is your moment. Don't miss it. And to all of you watching, thank you. Thank you for hearing my heart. Thank you for giving space to my story. Whether you agree or disagree, I honor your time. But if something inside you is waking up, don't silence it. Jesus didn't bring you here by accident. He is calling. Softly, powerfully, lovingly. Answer him. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So subscribe. Share this with someone who needs it. Start that conversation you've been afraid to have. Keep watching. Keep seeking. And above all, keep your heart open to the one who sees you, knows you, and loves you more than you can imagine. His name is Jesus, and he is everything. With all my heart, thank you for being here. I see you, I care for you, and I'm praying for you, wherever you are in the world. We're not just strangers, we're connected now. You are not alone. Until next time, stay safe, stay brave, and stay close to Jesus.